Welcome to a basic operational video on a 2017 Newmar King Aire, better known as the Night Train. This is Mayan Shah with RVMax.us, and I'm excited to dive right into it. This is our first driver's side compartment on the King Aire. And I just want to drop whatever information I have. I definitely am far from knowing it all. So this right here is basically a chipboard for a lot of things that are related to the driver cockpit. You've got park brake sensor, stuff like that. You've got some other electronics in here. This is like a small fuse box right there. That is the one of the big things you want to talk about in this compartment. That is the control for our generator slide out. Now, to have this working, you have to have the ignition on to have that working. These lights are automatic, by the way. And Newmar doors are like that. So you see how it just kind of didn't shut on me? They're double sealed, so you got to give them a good shut. That's how it's done. So these are our pass-through storage compartments, and to operate them, you've got a button on the actual door, and there are a great many LED lights located in these storage compartments. Same deal here. We've got the push button here for our Easy Glide slide tray. We'll talk about what those little pieces are in a minute. Now this compartment right here is where our 50 amp shore power cord reel is located. So it's always good to grab a rag and hold on to this as it slides back in, just to reduce the amount of dirt and dust in this compartment. And it's actually pretty nicely labeled. You've got a bunch of fuses here and breakers. They're all labeled very well. Multiplex system, which is all your switches, entry step, stuff like that. It's all labeled right there. And right there in the very back, we've got our automatic transfer switch. So that will decide between shore and gen power. It will prefer generator power. Now you can also start your generator from here too. You've got a generator start button. So as soon as you roll in your 50 amp cable, if you want to fire a generator, you can do it from right here. Now over on the left is where our two 3000 watt Xantrex inverters are located, and they do have resettable breakers on them. So if it ever trips, you can come out here. There are also fuses that can sometimes go bad. If you ever have trouble with it, that's the first place to look. Oh, and before we get on this compartment, you see that light up there? That is our driver's side security light. That's what that is. So this is our wet bay, or plumbing bay, or dump bay, or there's many terms for this bay. But essentially this is where we're gonna do your dirty business as well as hook up your water. So this is a really nice piece right there, but for now, instead of covering the sales points, because there are a great many here, we're gonna skip over that and we're gonna talk about how to operate it, starting from right to left. So over here, we've got our outside shower. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. There's a valve on it right there, so you can cut it off. You set your temperature and then cut it off at the head. These valves you can leave alone. There's a whole winterizing kit and instructions. It's kind of going to be separate of this video. We're just showing how to operate it, and that's why you've got these low point drains here as well. Now this is our tank monitoring system. We've got 48 gallons of fresh water in the system. You can also turn your pump on from right here, which that green LED light is indicating. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. And you can also press auto fill. So if you've got this valve located in this position and you connect to your water source via this hose over here, it will automatically be in city pressure mode. So this will give you pressure at all of your taps, and you can turn off your water pump. Now in this position here, you can click fill from either inside the coach or from right here. It will switch an electric valve and then divert the water coming in from your hose from giving you pressure in your system to then filling up your water tank. Now I love this because you can also just set it manually to city supply and manually to tank fill if you want. This right here is the Sanacon. So this is basically a macerator and a pump. This will allow you to pump your sewer or your dump straight uphill, so you're not going to be left with any residual junk in your hose when you're done. And you're mainly going to be dumping with this 3-inch diameter macerator dump hose. Don't forget to take that cap off, plug that down in there, make sure it's set pretty well. And once it's hooked up, you're going to open the dump valves via these switches right there. You've got gray and black. And the standard procedure is to do black first, let that completely dump out, shut off the black, or I like, if you really want to get nitpicky, before you close the valve and operate it, you can flush your black. But then you close your black, then you open your gray. Now, some people like to camp with their gray wide open. Personally, I don't like doing that. I don't know, it just bothers me having a tank open, but that is up to your discretion. These two here are for your flushes. So you can flush your gray tank and you can flush your black tank via these outlets. And these low point drains are so you can release the pressure so you don't get any backwash in your hose. And again, the Santicon is a pump macerator for when you're dumping your tanks. Now over here, you just got some labels so you know where gray is coming. These of course can be used as manual if you'd like, if they ever break. And this right here is an emergency let out, which is a beautiful feature. If you ever have some blockage elsewhere, you can always dump it using a regular RV dump hose connecting to this valve right there. Now this is a water tap, so this will give you water out of your system. If you want to spray off your coach or get water out for any reason other than using your outside shower, connect a hose up to it quite easily there. Now this is called a mana block. This will allow you to shut off water to a specific point in the coach, either hot or cold. And this way, if you ever have a plumbing leak and you're out camping, you can continue using the rest of your plumbing system without having to turn it all off. Now down on the bottom, we've got our water hose reel. So you pull this out manually, you've got a cap on the end, and there's a button right there to electrically reel it back in. And again, this is one of those things that if you want, you can grab a rag or something and clean it, dust it, take the dirt off of it as you draw it back in. One last thing about this is your water pump is located right there, easy access point to it. And the water pump you're really just going to be using when you're not connected to city pressure, on the road or anytime you want. Dry camping, boondocking. Now again, these doors are normal to do that. You see how it didn't shut again? You want to push it right from this point or on the side, give it a good shut, and it'll shut. Again, these are double sealed doors, so that's going to happen. Now this right here is our battery compartment. We've got 16 batteries located in here, 8 on each side. There's a pin right there where you can remove it and slide it out one way or the other to get to both sides of 8 batteries. Now this stainless steel pipe is for your Oasis hydronic heating system. Now one only tip I'd say about using this system is if you have an exhaust fan on in the coach, you do have carbon monoxide sensors and all that good stuff, but sometimes you get a little exhaust smell in the coach. Oasis are one of the most reliable systems, very efficient, doesn't smoke at all, so it's really not a concern. Just giving you some other random tip that I've noticed camping out there. This right here is just an extra storage compartment. You can put sewer hoses in it. That's kind of what it's made for. It's a classic Newmar feature. And this right here is for our DEF, so you can fill your DEF on both sides of the coach. This is our egress door, emergency outlet for the coach. And yeah, this hopefully you're never gonna use. This right here is our chassis battery location. We've got 2 chassis batteries right there. And this is basically a chassis cutoff. If you ever are gonna store this without any power, you can come and turn these yellow things up and disconnect your chassis batteries. Now that's your air dryer filter, your main water separator, which you're going to change every couple of years, as well as your valve for your rear engine hatch, which is an air valve. And there's an adjustment for the pressure on that little knob. This right here is our DEF tank. Now, one thing I would say about DEF is there are people who carry around jugs of it and manually put it in themselves. I do not recommend this. I recommend going to a truck stop and having a pump and putting it in there so you don't have to deal with potentially spilling it on yourself. If you do it yourself, make sure to wear some thick rubber gloves, just to be careful. Now, one thing I want to say about this tag, both the tag wheels here on this coach, is they are called passive. It's called a passive steer tag axle. So as you turn under, I believe, 20 miles an hour, it will turn with you so you don't have to dump the bags, and it won't scrape the tire by dragging it because our pivot point is not here. It will automatically dump the airbags when you're in reverse. So sometimes if you've turned and then backed up, these wheels will look misaligned a little bit. Do not fret, that is okay. They lock in position once they straighten up. If this bothers you, as it does bother me, what you can do after you back up in your spot, go straight about 10 feet and then back straight up to get these to lock in place. Now, there are exterior underlights here. You see under the slides and your patio lights, which is quite nice. That is our passenger side security light. And I'm not going to cover this bay. This is basically just the other side of our battery bay. But this right here, so you've got a TV out here, Bose soundbar, and the controls here for the Bose are on this remote right here. And basically, this will also swivel out. It's on a swivel mount with a magnet. Okay, this is where our outside refrigerator is located. If you need to change filters for your central vac, it's located right there. There are also some extra outlets in here. You have your master control boxes. You see those white boxes right there? Those are master control boxes, one per massive Girard awning that you have on your passenger side of the coach. This right here is the main control panel for your Oasis heater system. There's a separate LED lighting configuration on the actual heater itself to indicate what's going on, but this is a little separate control box where you can see what's going on right now. It's powered on. Okay, so this is our pass-through storage bay, and I wanted to pull this out and talk about it a little bit. Now, this right here is the tools that you will need to remove the Tyron kit, which is, remember, a run flat system on our front tires. Good to always have in the bus. All right, let's go ahead and take a step in this gorgeous coach and talk about some operational things from the inside. One thing I want to tell you about this HWH step is when you go to level the coach, you want to have these steps in, especially if you dump the airbags. These will automatically adjust to whatever height they're at, but if they're already extended and then you level, you can potentially hit your step and damage this very nice hydraulic step. All right, let's step inside here. All right, so this is located right next to our passenger side seat. We've got our fire extinguisher right down there below this. This, with the red light, is a 12-volt battery disconnect for our house side batteries or coach side batteries. Now, this is only if you're going to store the coach with no power. Do you want to turn this off and then also turn off the two yellow cutoffs for your chassis batteries or your starting batteries? These are just the unlock and lock button for all your bay doors, and then you've got step-well lighting here. Okay, so this is our main control center right here in this touchscreen. So first of all, on the home menu, you've got genset. So if you click that, it'll automatically start your generator. Autofill is to autofill the water tank, like we talked about in the wet bay in this coach, if you're connected to city pressure. This pump button is for our water pump. AutoGen turns on the AutoGen system. So whatever parameters you have for your AutoGen will turn on and engage when you turn on AutoGen. The block heater right there is to heat your block up. Basically, the only time you're going to be using that is if you go to Alaska or somewhere super cold. Locks, this is pretty self-explanatory. This is going to lock all of the bays and the coach. Now, down here, if you hit keypad, virtual keypad is basically where you can do all of your electronics or a lot of your electronics, such as lighting and shades, as well as your awnings from in here. Just super nice. You also have a master light kill, which I also really like. If you're in the front, you're about to walk out of the coach, go somewhere, you can hit a master kill and just kill all the lights. Click home and go back. Camera, this will give us our camera feeds around the coach. And then once you're in there, you can tap to go to different places or different cameras. Dim, this is basically the dimness of the screen. And then that is our home menu. Now this over there, those 3 rectangles are indicating our 3 different tanks, fresh, gray, black. Our house batteries are our 16 batteries. They're being charged and maintained. Chassis batteries are our starting batteries in the very back of the coach. And then you've got your shore power located right here, which is showing leg 1 and leg 2 of our 2 120 volt systems. And right now we're only drawing about 7 plus 1, about 8 amps. Now let's move on to our AC power. So AC power, basically, again, we're going to see leg 1, leg 2, how much power we're drawing from either shore or gen. You can play with settings. Basically, you want to leave these settings alone. If you ever want to come in here and turn your inverters on, you will click change. So right now we're plugged into shore power. When you're in shore power, you leave the inverters alone. And by the way, you see the power just kicked on. I've got the tile heat on right now. So this right here will allow you to turn, like I said, your inverters on if you need to run that 1 AC, or if you want to run any 120 volt systems in the coach, besides a handful of things like tile heat. Now down here, our DC power, this is basically just going to show what's going on with our batteries. Right now they're absorb charging. You've also got the second one in float charging. You have got that battery disconnect, so that same switch we've got in the step well, we've got a control for that right there. And then you can change the settings in your chargers. Basically, you want to leave that alone unless you really want to go geek out. Now here is our gen set. So this is where you can go in and start the generator as well. Clear AGS is just like clear all the settings on your automatic gen start system. And then you can set your auto gen start in your features menu, which we'll talk about in just a second. Now water, this is just going to show our tanks. Also gives you another access point to your water pump on-off switch, as well as your autofill toggle switch. Climate. This is going to control all the temperatures in the coach. So all controls all of the temperature throughout the coach. So you've either got cool or heat. Now these air conditioners are heat pumps. And then you can leave it in auto. So auto, you can set heat and cool, kind of have a like a smart thermostat, high and low. And you've got your outside temp here. And then you can go break it down. Living room, kitchen, bathroom is the rear bathroom, and then your bedroom. Now I'm back in home here. Oh, one more thing about climate. So to turn on your hot water system, you're going to click Oasis, and then you're going to turn your burner on. You've also got 2 elements, but basically if you want to get hot water quickly, you turn on the burner. AC power will heat the coolant as well, but for serious heating, you're going to have to turn the burner on, but you can leave your AC elements on as well. Now let's go ahead and go back to our floor heat. So this is 3 zones. Rear is the master bathroom. You've got the front of the coach, and then the middle is like the kitchen, and then the master bedroom. So there's 1 or 0 through 10 on this setting. Right now I've got them all at 6. Now if you hit features, this is going to take you into another menu. So Rosie Telematics, this is something I would, if you ever want to hook it up, you can control your coach from your phone. Newmar is the best person to talk to connect this up. I've never done this before, but I know that this coach is equipped with this system, which is top notch, and you don't see in all 17 models. Let me go back. Clock, so you can just set, you've got an alarm and stuff like that. Timers, which is kind of funny. Virtual keypad, this is going to show us our digital gateway to control our lights, shades, awnings, as well as our TV lift. System diagnostics. So this is throughout everything that's connected, which is the air conditioners, Oasis, electronics is all coming through the system, and it's showing us that we have no faults. There's a couple different pages showing all kinds of stuff. Okay, so we're going to scroll down here. Now the next thing is monitor configuration. So this is settings for your Silverleaf system down in your dash, stuff like that. And again, I would leave this alone. Now down here, we've got auto gen start configuration. So auto charger, this will, basically you can have it exercise where it automatically starts up every once in a while. You got auto charger. So basically if the batteries drop to a certain voltage, it will start the generator up automatically. Auto charger start volts, so you see all the parameters for that. If it drops down to 11.8, it'll start up. Max runtime 240 minutes. Top off at 12.8. Top off runtime 60 minutes. Then you got quiet time, so when you don't want it to run, if it hits one of those parameters, but it's at a quiet time, you can have those settings as well. Then you can set the days of the week, and you can do all kinds of fun stuff with this auto gen start. Now the climate zone, this is pretty straightforward. If you've got a temperature set in here, it's going to keep your coach at a certain temperature and start that generator to keep you going. You kind of work the 1AC that can run off of inverters and your voltage. A lot of cool things you can do with this. Again, auto gen start is something that you might play with later on down the road when you're first owning this coach. You're not really going to want to mess with this. And the rest is just different things that are kind of deep level connectivity things. You can rename things in your floor heat. You can, I guess check if you want to have any warnings pop up when your tanks are getting full, which right now it does have some warnings. So it's nice. It'll pop up on the screen and warn you what's going on. Hey, you need to pay attention to me. Basically, tank calibration, climate configuration. So yeah, these are high level stuff that you're not really gonna have to worry about unless you got this in a service shop. Basically, a service technician will worry about some of this stuff. And beyond that, that is our touchscreen. Now this is replicated in the bedrooms exactly like this. Now these switches I want to talk about, we've got a Wi-Fi router in here. You can turn that off and on, so you can have a SIM card in the wind guard up top and broadcast Wi-Fi throughout the coach. There's a router back in the compartment over there. This is our entrance hydraulic step control. So once you've leveled the coach, you can extend your step and turn it off so it doesn't come in and out. It just stays out. And of course, even in the off position, if you start it and start moving, it will automatically pull it in. Now these are our passenger side. This is the passenger side slide control button, driver side slide control button. So these are the big flush tile slides. Passenger side window awning, driver side window awning. These are window awnings that are electric, so they give you shade over your windows. Security systems, so this will basically, to my basic understanding, you've got somebody moving around in here, there's sensors in the coach, and if you've got your alarm set with your key, it will sound the alarm. That's my basic understanding of this. It's a pretty simple system. There's no code or anything like that. It's just corresponding to your lock and unlock button. Now over here, these are more controls for our privacy drapes up in the front, so you can drop down these blackout shades and get privacy in the cockpit. Passenger side, door is the entrance. The front is the big main one. And then the driver is over here to the left. Now these security lights are those LED lights that we saw on the outside of the coach. I'm going to turn them off. Now up above that, this is our hard Girard control for our massive Girard awnings. So you've got LEDs on them. Channel goes through and controls them all. So you've got window awnings you can control through here, as well as your main awnings. And then this right here is for our local channel antenna. And then up above, we've got our main satellite dish if you ever want to have satellite TV in this coach. This is a HWH master reset for our slide or our hydraulic entrance step. All right, so up here in the cockpit, we're going to first start here to the right of the driver. So these are our visor controls. So we've got a side visor, we've got a front visor, we've got our side visor for the passenger seat, and then of course you can also control your privacy drape from right here. So that's pretty nice. If you just park, you've got two places to control that front privacy drape. Now this button is our entrance lock button. This is our step cover button to cover the step so you can walk on it. Make sure it's fully extended before you walk on it. This right here is our generator start stop button. So if you press and hold stop, it'll light up like that and flash. And basically this is an automatic start stop button. You click it once and it does it itself. It starts up. These are our dock lights. So there are 4 LED dock lights all around the coach, 2 on each side. And you can use them in addition to your patio lights if you like, as long as they're not blinding your neighbor. And you turn them off, on and off via that button. Basically, sometimes you don't want to run them if they blind your neighbors, but they're really nice when you're docking the coach or parking it at night. These are super convenient. These are courtesy lights, so these are basically all the under lights and accent lights to walk in the coach. So at night, you're driving the coach. If you want some walkway lighting, you click this button, it lights up all the walkways. This is our 360 camera select. So we're going to turn this on. So the 360 camera select will show you your top-down 360 view. And anytime you indicate in the coach, you'll also have your 360 camera pop up over here. Now the camera system on this coach is quite incredible, and it's really nice. The camera select button will let you manually go through your different cameras. So we've got all kinds of cameras around the coach, and as you can see, you can cycle through them all. Now right here is basically the high, medium, low. Right now the ignition's off. So these are auxiliary defrost fans for the front piece of glass, and you've got medium, high, low, and then you turn them on via this overhead fan switch. And now this is additional front fans for that defrosting. So you've got fans up above and fans down below to defrost that big one-piece windshield up there. Now this right here is our smart wheel, and through it you're going to control cruise control. You can flash your headlights here to turn them off and on. You can flash your taillights there. Basically, it's called ICC. It's to like communicate with other truck drivers, stuff like that. And you can also control your windshield wipers from right here on the smart wheel. Now, to adjust the smart wheel, you're going to use these tabs. You can adjust the pedals, you can adjust the telescope, and you can adjust the tilt through these 3 tabs here. Okay, so this is a beauty, and I don't know why they went away from this in the newer King Aires. This is a silver leaf screen for the driver. So this is beautifully connected to the coach side too. So I'm going to walk through a couple buttons on our Silverleaf control. Now the drive button on our Silverleaf control will toggle different screens you can have while driving. So this is up to your discretion, whatever you'd like to have as your main drive screen. There's a roller switch, so you can change some things. Like right there, you change steering effort. You can also go to speed, rolling miles per gallon, retarder percentage, recent miles per gallon, oil temperature, oil pressure, intake manifold temp. These are really nice things to have on demand. The Silverleaf screen is epic. So the next thing we're going to talk about is our info menu. So if you click info, this will show you tire pressures. You can also hook up your trailer tire pressures and stuff like that. Then if you click diagnostic, this will show if you have any faults in the system. As we see, no active faults. So that's just nice to be able to glance at that. Program, so you can change things, like the date, stuff like that, nighttime brightness, scanning speed, all that good stuff. Let me go ahead and click to our home button. And our home button will show all of our coach side stuff as well. So this is super cool. This is merging between the coach and chassis. And this is why I like, one of the many reasons I like this Silverleaf cockpit screen as well as the Silverleaf coach side. So this is showing our inverters, what's going on with our AC panel. It's charging our batteries. You can control water pump, autofill, turn on your inverter, turn on your generator from here. Just so many places to do things in this coach. It's super cool. Now let's go ahead and talk about some controls over to the left of the screen. So this right here is our comfort drive button. So I'm going to click drive to get back to that. Now comfort drive basically works like this. 1 is the least amount of resistance in the steering. 6 is the maximum amount of resistance. So this is up to how you want to drive it. If you're around town, you might go down, turn the resistance down. You're on the highway, it's windy, turn that resistance up. Now this is that Silverleaf control button center for that digital gauge cluster basically, which does a whole lot more than just a gauge cluster. That is our emergency brake. So when you park this coach, you're going to put it in neutral and pull that up towards you. You'll hear a big psh sound and it'll be locked in place. This is our mirror control. And then that's mirror heat. We've got fog lights here. Automatic traction control override if you want to turn off automatic traction control and go mudding in your 2017 King Aire, or any other reason you've got a reason to turn that off. This is for our side window. This is to turn the air horn on and off. So if you want to have just a regular car horn, you turn that off. Big loud air horn, turn that up. Battery boost merges banks of batteries. So if you've got dead starting batteries, you can take your 16 batteries and jump yourself off. This right here is basically just the brightness and dimness of all the buttons in the cockpit. And then we've got an old school GM control for our beautiful LED headlights right there. Now over to the left, we've got some fun stuff. This is our Allison control center here. So you've got drive, reverse, neutral. Good tip that I always like to do is in between shifting from reverse to drive, I like to go to neutral first in between just to relieve pressure from that 4000 Allison. This right here, if you click mode, you can then select the highest gear that the transmission will go in via these up and down arrows. And basically over here, it's labeled already. So monitor is showing you what gear you are in currently. And then the select, the N on the left, will show you what you have selected. Now this is our HWH hydraulic leveling system control. And basically this is our jacks. So when you go to auto level, it's going to manually dump the whole coach and then it's going to stick the jacks down. You can also do each side manually, extend, retract. The yellow lights are indicating which side it thinks is leaning. And as you can see, it thinks slightly differently where auto level is than our air leveling, because right now we've air leveled the coach. And then HWH is saying, oh, you need to pick that side up a little bit. So honestly, you might nitpick this yourself, but mostly I use air leveling because that's super easy and you don't have to deploy anything. Now this is our Hadley air ride system. So normally when you go to drive the coach, you're going to put it in standard ride, STD ride, right there in the middle. Now, if you want to auto level the coach, you're going to press SLS, give it about 2 seconds, 3 seconds, then press set. And after about 5 minutes, the coach will have itself auto leveled. Now, while using either of these systems, you want to have the coach running. These raise and lower buttons basically put the ride height in lowered or raised mode. You can't go over 10 to 15 miles an hour in either of these modes. But if you need to clear something, you can raise the whole coach up. If you need to go under something, you can lower it all down right there. But when you go to drive, you're going to start the coach up, then press STD standard ride. The last couple of buttons to talk about here are right there. So this is our engine brake on off. And then we've got engine brake high, medium, low. High is really strong. It's super nice. This is our tag dump. So in auto mode, it will dump itself automatically and do what it needs to do. Disabled, it won't do anything. It'll still dump itself if you put it in reverse. And then manual, it's a toggle. So you click it like that, it will manually dump the tag axle airbags to relieve the pressure off of them. Now, because this has passive steer, you really don't have to worry about this unless you're backing up, which it automatically dumps them anyways. Now over here, this is the last thing we're going to talk about in this cockpit. This is our driver preset. So this will, if you preset this, it will set your steering wheel, it will set your pedals, it will set your mirrors, and it'll set your seat. And also down there, there's storage, there's USB outlets as well as a regular car outlet, and then there is a wireless car charging area right here where you can set your phone and let it charge. And that is the cockpit. That concludes this how-to video. Thank you all for watching, and a special thanks to David and Janet for purchasing this beautiful coach. Hope this video was of use, and we will catch you in the next one.